Now if you're somewhere where you don't have a pen and paper, but maybe you do have a pencil or something like that, something to write with, but you don't have a piece of paper, well, you can use a piece like this to write on. So I have a piece of plywood to go on the bottom of this Grizzly sander. I'll show you the number of it. Okay, there it is. Right there. All right. So now I've got to write down how big this base is. $20 3/4. And you have to remember, are you measuring from the outside to the outside, or are you measuring from the inside to the inside? Either one will work. Make sure this one up top is okay, about the same. Yeah, it is. All right, then measure the length. .36 7/8. So write that down. 36 7/8. Now you aren't done, because you got to measure one of these feet. So it's about 1.5 by 1.5. And then I'll show you how we're going to attach this, because it's going to be a unique situation. I don't want to drill holes in these feet. I mean, I could, but this is under warranty, and if I have to send it back and receive a new one, I don't want them to have holes in there. So I've got a unique way of putting the base on there. Okay, now there's several different ways you can do this. I'll show you one of them. All right, first of all, we got 20 3/4, which is the small dimension, which is going to be the small dimension on this piece of plywood. So you're going to measure 20 3/4. Now this is how I do it. You can do it a different way. $20 3/4. All right, then you're going to measure how much you have left. 3 inches, approximately. So that means you're going to have to come in here 1.5 inches, which is half of 3 inches. Then come over here 1.5. All right, now the next thing is to check what you're doing here. So this space from here to here should be 20 3/4. It's close enough. It's a little bit short, about maybe a 1/16 of an inch short, which is fine for this kind of work. All right, then the next one, 36 7/8. You should have the ends square with this edge. We edged this piece of plywood, but now we're going to just hope that it's okay. 36 7/8. So that's going to be right here. All right, measure what you have left over, divide it in half. 2 1/4, 1 1/8. Now all these marks on here, you're going to have to remember what they are. So I'm going to put a 1 1/8 mark here. I'm going to put another one over here. Basically, here's the outline right here. This border right here. That's your 1.5 inches that I measured. Okay, now this one, this mark, I'm going to have to line it up with this mark that I made over here, 1.5 inches. So it's going to be 1 1/8 inches. Then I'll show you how to make it really accurate. All right, now we're going to come over here, which we have a unique situation over here, so this is going to be kind of tough over here. You got to come in 1.5 inches either side. And then 1 1/8 inches. Basically, like I said, you got to line these two up. All right, now comes the tricky part. I'm going to need another mark over here on this edge, and it's going to be 1.5 inches. Remember to pull your tape tight because this is made for the thickness of this little thing down here. Okay, so I got 2 marks. At 1.5 inches. Line up your 2 marks and draw a line. For me, I don't care if it has a bunch of lines on it, but that's up to you. Now I'm going to make another one, 1 1/8 inches. Line up those two. Now I can see right now I didn't get it quite right, so I'm going to have to go back and do this again. Now, all I did was make my mark a little bit fatter. This is only an approximation, and that's all I want. So now I got the corner where the foot is going to go right here. All right, now I got to come over here on this side. You already got a bunch of marks over here for the 1 1/8 inches part of it. So now I'll make another mark here. All right, so another 1.5 inches over here. Take your mark. Now I know there's a corner out here. That's not going to matter. Sometimes you can just picture it in your head and remember all your numbers. Again, line up your previous marks. You're only going to need to mark this area here. 1.5 inches again. And line up these marks so you know where your foot is going to go. Not your personal foot, but the foot of the machine. All right, there you go. All right, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to lay this where I want it. And then I'm just going to drill holes and install it. I'm sort of lining them up with the lines that I drew on here before. Just make circular marks in the holes and then drill them. I'm sort of lining them up with the lines that I drew on here before. Just make circular marks in the holes and then drill them. I don't think these need to be that accurate. As long as you put it on here and then leave it in one spot and then draw these holes on there. Then once you get your bolts ready to go, you have to make sure that you don't tighten up all of them. You got to make sure that you tighten all of them separately and don't tighten them all at once. Otherwise, they aren't going to line up. And just take your drilled holes. I'm going to make them 1/4 inch. Then drill them a little bit oversized. I decided to drill these 5/16. This thing here may be pretty old, but this has saved me a lot of grief over the years, and I put a lot of doors in here especially to do work on them. So you're just gonna tighten these up. Basically, I've got 4 legs on this sander, and although they have legs that are like this, they're somewhat flexible. And then the next one will be over here. And so I've got to make some something to go like this. And then there'll be 2 screws. And then they would hold this, they would go in here, basically looking like this. Then have 2 screws holding it. So something like that, and basically holding this leg in place. Now we're going to cut all these 14 inches. I should have said 4 inches. 4 inches. So once you mark your first one, then you have a pattern. Now we make it 4.5. Okay. Okay, first you're going to measure these 4-inch pieces, 3/4. So you're going to come up here 3/4. Plywood is 1/2 inch. So then you're going to have 1.25 inches all together. And the reason why I did that is because you're trying to figure out the length of your screws. And these are 1.25 inch screws. So I will either use those. I have some other ones that are Torx bit